In this last video for the sexual assault module, we'll be talking about rape culture. Rape culture is a society or an environment whose prevailing social attitudes have the effect of normalizing or trivializing sexual assault and abuse. What this is really saying is that rape culture is our entire society thinking and acting like some things are no big deal, which allows sexual violence to keep on happening. So in reality, sexual violence occurs on a continuum where violence, like physically hurting someone else, is at this extreme of the continuum. And most people would agree that sexual assault, for example, is wrong and bad, and we shouldn't do those things. However, what we know about sexual violence is that these things on the bottom of this triangle on your screen also allow sexual violence to keep on happening, but not everyone is as appalled by these sorts of behaviors. So, for example, victim blaming and shaming. Victim blaming is when we criticize a victim of sexual assault and act like they did something wrong, and that's what caused them to be sexually assaulted. So it's questions like, well, what were you wearing? Or how much had you had to drink? Which makes it sound like because the victim may have been intoxicated or may have been dressed a certain way, that they were quote unquote asking for it. But like we talked about in a previous video, no one is asking to be sexually assaulted. And it's never okay to blame a victim for being targeted and victimized. This is that difference that we talked about earlier of judgment and responsibility. Probably not great judgment to walk around flashing that you have thousands of dollars in your hands, right, and shaking it around. However, it still wouldn't be your responsibility if someone chose to break the law and steal that money from you. It's the same idea here. So rape culture is this idea of all of these behaviors should be offensive and should be things we call out, every single thing in that triangle. Because in reality, the things on the bottom part of the triangle are allowing the things on the top parts of the triangle to happen. So if we truly want to stop sexual assault and sexual violence as a whole from happening in our society, we need to start calling out and addressing these parts all over the triangle. So we're going to talk in a later module about being an active bystander, and it's important when we talk about that to remember that doesn't mean just intervening when you see violence happening, although please do stop violence from happening when you see something. It also means, though, that we call out when these sorts of things are happening so that we can make sure our campus is safe for everyone. There's a really great video all about victim blaming and another one that talks all about rape culture in the optional materials, and I encourage you to check those out. So as a whole, rape culture is really a societal norm. And so on our campus, it's up to you all to set this cultural norm that everyone on our campus is safe, welcome, and a part of the Golden Eagle family.